Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well. Not in my normal studio. It's my attic, but I'm on tour at the moment in Northern Ireland. Got another week here, which is good and bad because I'm going to miss the next league game against Liverpool. But hey, you got to work. You got to work.
That could be good or bad, mate. I don't know.
Hey guys, there's the dulcet tones. The dulcet tones of Bernard from the Citizen channel. And we're in the international break. We are talking about other stuff. And I think we've got a doozy for you. We've got some doozies coming up this week, some really good things to talk about. And today, we're going to talk about the best 11 in the Pep era. Now, I don't think that's going to be easy. You've got, just think of some of the players. Maybe you don't want to, but I'll give you some of the players that were here when Pep came in 2016. So we had Claudio Bravo, Bakary Sagna, Vincent Kompany, Pablo Zabaleta, Fernando, Raheem Sterling, Ilkay Gundogan, Nolito, remember him? Sergio Aguero.
Oh, good God, you're squeezing Nolito in, flipping heck. About Danilo, put Danilo in.
I'm just going to go through the list. Alexander Kolarov, Willy Caballero, Jesus Navas, Kevin De Bruyne, Fabian Delph, Leroy Sané, David Silva, Gail Clichy, John Stones, Fernandinho, Nicolas Otamendi, Gabriel Jesus, Yaya Toure, Pablo Maffio. Right. Well, this was a squad when he arrived. Tosin Adebayo, Angus Gunn, Angelino, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Alex Garcia. So that was the squad we had back in the day, where it was a bit of a grind. We didn't win the league that season, but Pep's not done too bad since. And so there's a list of players, and obviously some of the names we've got now. We've still got KDB. We got obviously Edison, Haaland, Bernardo Silva. Oh, this is going to be fun. We've had Mahrez. We've got Grealish now, and we've still got Johnny Stones, we've got Gvardiol, we've got Ruben Dias, Kyle Walker. This is going to be a mega difficult thing to do, is to pick your best 11. But Bernard thinks he can do that. Bernard's done it. He's got his best 11.
Just looking at it now, it's a bit unbalanced, but yeah, it's interesting. Should we start with the keeper?
I think that's the easiest place to start.
Well, you've got a choice. I do remember Mr. Bravo was supposed to be the answer to Pep's problems, wasn't he? Let's be honest about it. He cocked up with that. He cocked up with that one, didn't he? I remember that debut against United. Was it Old Trafford? And obviously a bit of a big rick there at and I don't think he ever recovered after. I don't think he ever recovered after that, did he? After that, and of course, a lot of fans were sticking up for him. I'm a goalkeeper, as you know. I'm the goalkeepers union. I was slagging him off early doors, saying he's just not good enough. Simple as that. He's just not good enough. Obviously, Mr. Hart was recently gone, so we're all a bit despondent about that, of course, at the time. But I just didn't think Bravo was good enough, and then obviously became a hero in certain cup competitions, didn't he? But there's only one keeper. There's only one keeper that has done it throughout for Pep. You're playing his system, and of course, old Edders.
Oh, we lost Bernard. Oh, we lost you there. But I think you were going to mention Edison. We lost you for a second. Edison, but I think Edison is your man. Edison is your man. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the defense. This is let's start the easiest place to start are the fullbacks. Are you playing 4 at the back? Are you playing a 4-3-3?
Yeah, I'm playing a 4-3-3. Because it's hard to know what to play with Pep, isn't it? So I'm trying to be old-fashioned. A 4-3-3, and I've got a couple of subs as well.
Well, I'm not going to let you have a couple of subs, mate. I'm going for the best 11. No subs allowed.
No, I want to put subs in because you might ask why is he not in my team.
Well, I expect the good players that are not in your team are on your subs bench, but I'm not. I'm going to stick to 11. But I think the fullbacks initially sound to me like an easier proposition.
Well, yeah, one is right back's easy, left back not so much.
Let's start with the easy one. We started with Pablo Zabaleta at right back when Pep joined. We had Jesus Navas playing as our wing back or under Pep. And subsequent to that, we've had bit part play some people, but Kyle Walker's been a mainstay for the last 6 years. We had a little bit of Rico Lewis. We had a little bit of what's the guy's name? His name's it's just disappeared. The Brazilian guy who played a couple of seasons for us, won 2 league titles, and went off to Juventus. But anyway, that fella, he'll pop back in. We've had Danilo. That's it.
Danilo. Yeah.
He was there, and we've had who's the fellow that's just names are struggling. The one who's gone off to Spain, Barcelona. He went off to Bayern Munich. Cancelo, that's it. I'm having a really bad time with names at the moment. But then Kyle Walker, and I think I'm probably not going to be surprised. I guess you've chosen Kyle Walker. Why have you chosen Kyle Walker over?
I mean, because he goes back in time, doesn't he? It's not as though he's just been there recently. He goes back to the old Centurions, etc. And he's been in and out as far as people liking him, but he's always been, I think, fairly consistent. He's had bad games, of course. He's had problems like anyone would over that period of time, but I don't think there's anyone there to rival Kyle Walker's right back.
Yeah. And now he's 33 and he's still doing the business. Okay, let's look at left back. So Pep started with the Gail Clichy and Kolarov, and Kolarov weren't left back for me. And we've had people like right now. We got Gvardiol playing there, Nathan Ake. And we've had Emerick Laporte, centre back and left back. I'm trying to think of anybody else off anybody decent. Delphin Zinchenko. Yeah. It was all right.
We can't mention Mendy, really, can we? Although, he was.
No, move on. Let's move on. He's hardly here. Injuries, and he weren't good enough. Is anybody else on his side?
It's come down to 2 for me, this one, and it is difficult. And it's come down to Zinchenko and Ake.
Wow. Wow. Well, I know which one I'm going for. I think I'm going to guess which one you're going for. Look, Zinchenko was marvellous because he was a player out of position. He was a DM playing. He was a midfielder playing at left back. He had a lot of heart. And I think that's something that Pep loved about him, that he stuck with us. He had a lot of loyalty because he had opportunities to go to Wolves, Real Betis, turn them down. He wanted to fight for his place at City. He had that bond because City had brought him out of obscurity from when he was in Ukraine. He wasn't really training properly. Then the war and stuff, and football wasn't really going that well for him. And then City just bought him. Was it 1.5 million, 2 million quid, and he flourished at City. He started off as third choice left back and ended up being number 1. And one thing Pep used to say, but he had mistakes in him. But Pep used to say when he's made a mistake, he doesn't put his head down. He fights to recover from that mistake and make sure, he contributes. So he had a lot of heart. But Nathan Ake, you want to talk a bit about Nathan Ake?
Well, I want a defender as my number 3. And at the moment, Ake hasn't proven anything too much, as in the Zinchenko mould, as moving forward. But he's proved a totally capable, more capable than all the other guys you mentioned, the Delphs of this world, etc. I think Ake's proved a more capable left back, and I want my left back to be a left back. I'm playing a 4-3-3. Yeah. I'm playing 4 at the back. So for me, even though I narrowed it down to Zinchenko and Ake, I think the fact that he's a defender, not perfect by any means. We've not had the most perfect defender in the world since Pep's been there. Of course we haven't, but that's not how Pep plays. But as a defender, I'd have to go for Ake. I can't go for anyone else.
Totally agree. Now, we've got to mention, I should have done this at the top. We've had players who played under Pep when Pep first joined, who possibly were better in their careers before Pep came. I'll give you one example, which I think is pretty straightforward. He's not going to be at 11.
Willie Donachie.
No, Yaya Toure. So if you had a 2014 Yaya Toure, I think it's very hard to leave him out because he was the man that season. Scored, was it 20 goals or 40, whatever it was? He scored 8.
We're doing a City 11 after the money came in, after the Arab money came in, after that, Yaya Toure every day of the week.
Yeah, but for the Pep thing, just getting it out there because people say, well, why haven't you chosen this and that kind? It's got to be what they did under Pep. If they were fantastic before Pep, that doesn't count because they didn't do it under Pep. So I think that helps to narrow some stuff down. Let's go on to the defense centre-backs. We're going to have 2 centre-backs. Now, you got people like Otamendi, Vincent Kompany, Laporte, John Stones, Ruben Dias. Have I missed anybody important out?
No, narrowing it down to the guys I've got.
Who've you got?
I've even included a Kanji as well.
Yeah, he's not been here long enough for me.
No, but he's obviously there. But of course, the companies of this world and the Laportes, etc. Yes, you've probably covered all the guys I've considered.
I was going to say if you're going to include a Kanji, I'll have a look at some others that I might be able to squeeze in. But really,
well, that's a Kanji's for another little thing we're doing. But not in my Pep 11. No.
Okay, fair dues. Okay, so we've got
Diaz, of course.
Yeah, those you guys. So who are you going for then? So
I narrowed it down. I've got to go. Although obviously injuries was always a problem, wasn't it? I've got to go Kompany. It's one of my centre halves.
Wow. How many seasons did he play under Pep? That's a question. 2 seasons?
Was it 3? I thought it 3. 2 or 3.
First season wasn't up to much, was it? The first season under Pep. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I didn't want to pull the stats out, but you're forcing me. You're forcing my hand, Bernard, to pull out the stats. Okay. Pep joined in 2016-17. Yeah. Vincent Kompany played 45 league games under Pep. Only 45.
2 seasons, then, was it?
3 seasons. His most prolific season, he did 2 seasons where he played 17 league games. Okay. Now, if you look at all the games he played in the 3 years under Pep, it's still not a lot. It's 62. That's across all competitions. Is that enough? You obviously think it is.
Was he ever dropped? Was he dropped or just injured?
Injured. I do remember that his last season.
Did Pep like him? Did Pep like him as a centre half? Was he thought when Pep was putting his team together and Kompany was fit? Was he on the team sheet?
Well, I'm not bothered what Pep thinks. I'm bothered what we think.
Well, it's Pep's 11.
It's our choice in Pep's 11. The thing is,
if there was a fit Vincent Kompany, I'm fairly sure Pep played him.
Okay, yeah. I'll go along with that. Even though in Vincent's last season, he said when he saw John Stones playing centre-back, it was John Stones and Laporte, I think, he said he knew his time was up. He said, those were better than me. If Kompany is saying that in his last season, that he's not as good as Johnny Stones.
I'm allowing some sentiment in this as well.
Sediment or sentiment, I don't know. Okay, so you're going Vincent Kompany. I know you can have. Remember, I'm going to push you on this now because Vincent only played a right centre back. So you now have to have a left centre back. And I'm going to give you the choices. We've already got Ake. You've got Laporte, Ruben Dias, Otamendi.
That's no choice, mate. I'd already picked him. I'd already picked my other one.
Diaz.
You just said him. I had Diaz with Kompany.
Okay. I can't argue with that. He's well clear of Laporte. Clear of
Laporte certainly came into the reckoning because he had at least a couple of cracking seasons, but I think if you got to choose, obviously Diaz all day long. If I'm going to, if I hadn't put Company in there, but with Company, I've got to have Diaz and Company.
Yeah. I'm going for John Stones, okay? John Stones and Diaz, simply because John Stones, he's got injuries as well, but I think he's just played more games, and he's got that versatility as well. But I don't think there's a lot to choose, because you're right. I just with Vincent being a first choice, but I just don't think he played enough. You can't take that risk. The number of league games was just not enough.
I think John Stones took a bit to settle down. Yeah. He didn't hit the ground running.
Oh no, I'm not going to argue with that.
He took it up to another level now, but he wasn't a centre half. I wouldn't have always put him first on the team sheet.
Some people might have a pop at me for this, for picking John Stones, because he's never been prolific. Since Pep's been here, he played, I'm just going to go through the league games: 27, 18, 24, 16, 22, 14, 23. But the thing for me is, he played a little bit more than Company. But his Company's, when Stones was fit, he played. And I think that towards the end of Vincent's time, when Stones was fit, he played. He was awesome. When he was fit, when he'd had enough, I think when a couple of injuries, he came back too soon. He was all over the shop, and there was talk of him leaving to Spurs for 20 million quid, or on loan, and then with the obligation to buy for 20 million quid. But he stayed, and he's been awesome. So that's my choice. Let's move forward. I think the next one's going to be interesting. I'm guessing in your midfield you're going to have a DM. Now, I think there's only two choices. You're having two DMs?
No, there's only two DMs we can pick.
Fernando. No, we're going to have Fernandinho, Fernandinho and Calvin Phillips. Now, Fernandinho, Fernandinho and Rodri. Now, I think this is, for me, one of the hardest decisions you're going to make in this 11.
Easy for me.
Who are you going for?
Werner.
I thought you'd go for Rodri.
No. Don't get me wrong, it took me a while to warm to Rodri, and he's doing a cracking job, but just for these all-round, the fact of what else he can do, I think Werner all day long for me.
Wow. So let's look at some of his stats then, because that's what it's going to boil down to, because it's very tight. So under Pep, he played 32, 34, 29, 30, and the last two seasons down to 21 and 19. So last two seasons, but Rodri was here. It's really, really difficult to pick a player. And if you ask me this in 2 years' time, I might change my mind. But for now, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with Fernandinho, because he did it over a long period. And I'm hoping, I think Rodri's proving more versatile. He scores some cracking long-range goals. I think he's got a good range of passing on him. But my DM, for me, I want him to be able to sniff out.
DM stands for defensive midfield, and I think, Werner edges that.
Yeah, I think he edges that, because I'm hoping you pick some cracking attacking midfielders.
Master of the dark arts as well. So that's Rodri hasn't mastered that. He's nowhere near mastered the dark arts.
Trust me, he's miles better than in the first two seasons, where he was always on the wrong side, always getting yellow cards. Now, Rodri, I think he's pretty good, because he's avoiding yellow cards for these little, he's figured out how to just avoid it, but
he just gets red cards now. He's not bothered.
So we're going to both go for Fernandinho, because, as I said, he's a defensive guy. We don't need versatility there, because we've got a lot to choose from. Now, an attacking midfielder, midfield, we've got a ton of players. The aforementioned Yaya Toure. This is going to be crazy. Yaya Toure, David Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. I'm dreading this. Kevin De Bruyne. Potentially, you can throw Bernardo Silva in there as well. I think that's it. Is anybody else important that I've missed out from midfield?
Not really.
You can throw Phil Foden in as well.
Well, Foden, attacking midfielder. Let's just have a look at the Centurion season. Who else did we have?
No, that's it. There's no one. There's other bits and pieces players, but there's no one. There's no one who's going to come in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cheating on this a bit because I've also included my attacking midfielders in attack. So,
this is going to be
the first one. I'm going to go. I think we all agree. KDB.
Yeah, we're okay. Wow, I'm glad. I tell you what, I'm glad you said KDB. I really am glad you said him because I can't argue with that. No one can argue with that. Anybody who wants to argue with that, you could. You can do one basically because he was just that good. He's that good. He's not.
Now the other one you are going to argue with. I've not had Gun. I didn't put Gundo in mine.
You did?
No,
you haven't.
Not in my start. He's in my. He's on my subs bench.
Oh, I'm not bothered about that. Wow.
Because I've given someone a bit more credit than I think you're giving based on what you said earlier on. I've got to have David. I've got to have old David Silva in there.
Yeah, well, I give him a lot of credit because he's my. I've said it. He's my favourite City player, especially of modern times. If you go back, I'm a Peter Barnes man, but modern times is David Silva. So, look, David did. Was it 10 seasons at City? 10 seasons at City, 309 league games. Let's do some stats. His stats under Pep, I think, 30, I'm just going to give the raw numbers. League games, that's all I'm interested in. 34, 29, 33, 27. Okay, those are the raw numbers. Don't know how many he started, but generally David Silva didn't come off the bench. He was starting games. And he's played under Pep 89, 99, 109, 123 games in 4 seasons. 123 games in 4 seasons. So he's averaging 31 games a season. That's a lot in a 38-game season. And in the same time, we've got Ilkay Gundogan. Same period, I'm going to look at Ilkay. Now, I think Ilkay came more off the bench, and he also deputised for Fernandinho as well when he was injured. So, in the same period, obviously he came when he was injured. So, his first season is a bit unfair because he only played 10 games because he came injured. After that, 30, 31, 31, 28, 27, 31. He's got an extra 3 seasons on David. He'd got 188 games for City in that time in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. Now, as I said, that first season is a bit unfair because he was injured. In fact, if you admit that 178 league games in 6 seasons, just under 30 a season, and although you've got what's called recency bias because he lifted the Champions League, he's been captain. We've won the last 3 league titles. We got the treble under Gundogan. When they were both together, it's really tough because when they were both together, David Silva was first choice.
Yeah, David's always a more forward-looking player, wasn't he? That's what I'm after, an attacking midfielder, and I think Gundo's got a wider array, obviously more defensive as well. But if I'm looking for an attacking midfielder, which I want in this Pep's 11, that's why I've said David. Really, I think. Yeah,
I agree. David Silva for me. It's only wafer thin. I think if anybody says either or, it's you could argue the case for either or. But David Silva, bald beauty. I mean, I think that's what's done it, isn't it? The fact that he's politically challenged like us, we're going to side with the old Kojak David himself. So this is looking like an exciting team so far. We're going to have 3 up front. I'm going to start with, I think, the easiest. Well, you might think it's hard. Up top, we've had. Well, you might not go with somebody up top. You might prefer a false 9. Bernard, and he's gonna have David. He's gonna have a Gundogan as a false 9. I don't know. let's say we're going to go for a striker. I think there's only 2 to choose from: Sergio Aguero and
Jesus.
No. So those are your 2 options. Okay. Now, before you give us your decision, it's difficult because obviously Haaland's only been here for a season and a couple of weeks, and Sergio was here for long. But let's go through some.
The trouble with Aguero, of course, perhaps Pep probably didn't see the best of him anyway, did he?
Yeah, I think that's my thing. But he still played a lot, apart from the last season when he was injured. So under Pep, he played 31, 25, 33, 24, 12. In terms of goals, if you're just looking at stats, Sergio's got a problem. 20, 21, 21, 16, 4. I'm going to ignore the last season because he was injured. Okay. But in the 4 main seasons, he played, excuse me, 49, 113 games. Okay. He scored 78 league goals. 78 league goals is pretty good, isn't it? In 4 seasons. But that comes in something like 20 goals a season. He's averaging 20 a season. And whichever way you want to look at it, Haaland, how many league goals did he score last season? He's going to be what Aguero did in his 4 seasons, last 4 proper seasons under Pep. He could beat that in 2 seasons. Maybe 2 and a bit seasons. So, that's just a comparison.
Haaland is the same problem that you picked out with Rodri, isn't it? Give us another couple of seasons of Haaland pulling up trees. I might consider it, but at this point in time, I'd have to go for Aguero.
Okay. All right. I understand the reasoning. For me, this is why it's closer than it should be. Haaland scored 49 league goals already. In Aguero, and as I said, I'm not giving that last season because he was injured. He only played 12 games, got 4 goals. Aguero only got 78 goals. He only got 78 goals in 4 seasons because he had the injuries as well. 78, and Haaland's on 49.
Haaland's still got. As an all-round player, didn't Aguero probably create more for other players than Haaland does? For the team, Aguero, I think Aguero.
He's more of a team player. This is another tough one. You're right. In 2 years' time, or 1 year's time, season and a half's time, Haaland would be, if he carries on the way he's going, I think he'd be a shoo-in. But I'm still going to squeeze Haaland in. He frustrates me because he's not doing anything else. His job is only to score, and he doesn't score enough. Sounds ridiculous, but from the chances I get, I want more. So we've got to have a different. This is about opinions. We've got a difference of opinion.
Yeah, that's all right because he was on my bench with Gundo. Yeah. So
yeah, because if we pick the same team, what's the point? So I'm going to go for the big Nordic meat shield, Erling Haaland. Now we look at the wingers on the left.
Are the wingers? Would you have wingers, or the guys who can play on the wing?
Wow, you sneaky one, Ayuben. Well, I'm going to go for the easy one on the left. You got such names. I think there's only 3 names that pop into my head: Leroy Sané, Phil Foden. I'm actually struggling now. Has Jack Grealish been here long enough? I don't think so.
No, he wouldn't normally come into it, but no, as you say, I wouldn't include Grealish anyway.
I wouldn't. Is there anybody else I've missed? Have I missed somebody really important?
Well, it really came down to those 2 you said just then for me. personally. I didn't think of anybody
Raheem,
else.
well, having said that, Raheem did play on the left as well, left and right.
Yeah. That's where he's playing for Chelsea now as well.
I don't watch Chelsea, man. Even that last game, he played left for Chelsea because he ripped Walker apart. Okay, let's.
I treated Raheem and perhaps Sane as well. Obviously, Sane more left, but where he could play on either anyway, so he could probably get in as if he was good enough, getting as on the right as well in that team.
So you can.
But
go on.
But yes, I've just gone for the Stockport Iniesta. I've got to. I mean, I thought Sane was absolutely brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but not for long enough. If he was more consistent, more reliable, what a great player on fire. But consistency-wise, I just have to put Phil, and that's. I know he might not want to play there, but that's where I'm putting him.
This is tough. Well, if I include Sterling in the list, I'll discount Sterling because if I have a choice between Sterling and Leroy Sané, then Leroy Sané every day of the week. Sterling might have got more numbers, but Leroy Sané got me off my seat, and I think he did a lot of cracking stuff as well. And it's a shame. It's a shame he left. I think he probably regrets it. What a choice. Foden or Sané. You're going to hate me for this.
We've still got years of Foden to come.
Yeah. Come back in 2 years' time. But I'm going for Leroy Sané. And even Pep probably wouldn't, but I'm going for Leroy Sané. He's one of my favourite players. As I said, I got off my seat.
Oh, Pep didn't go for him his last season, did he?
No, you're right, but he came off the bench a lot. He's still got 32 appearances in his last season.
Yeah. He wasn't first name on the team sheet, mate. Though.
Last 6 months.
Pep's 11. You've got to be up there as first consistently, season in, season out.
But, mate, you don't talk stats.
Sterling was. I mean, you can't. Sterling was always even when he was struggling. Sterling was always one of his main players.
Yeah, but you can try and deflect me, but Phil isn't always first choice. Phil isn't. And right now, Bernardo on the right, Haaland down the middle, Doku on the left, Alvarez knocking about. Where's Phil? Phil's struggling. Not because he's not good enough, because we've got a lot of good players now. And I suspect I know who you've got on the right. By the way, you've talked. On the right, we can have Sterling. We can have Bernardo Silva. And we can have Riyad Mahrez. I know you're a Riyad Mahrez lover. I know everything. But who are you going on for the rights? I know who you're going for.
As I said, he's not a dedicated winger. But in Pep's 11? How can you not have Bernardo?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to say I agree. I mean,
the team to me looks a little bit out of balance, but
I don't think
I think if Sané's there instead of Foden, that sort of makes the balance a little bit better.
Yeah. But no, I'm not going to argue about Bernardo because I love Bernardo. He's got that little bit of something about him. You need one or two players that annoy the opposition fans, and he's certainly one of them. But he's got that energy. You just see him constantly on the go, and the game is just so easy for him. The game is just.
When have we ever said he's had it? When have we ever turned around and said, "Oh, he had a poor game"? I mean, when? I mean, he made mistakes, of course, Jazz. He's not been quite at it sometimes, but you never say about Bernardo. He's a 5 out of 10. He just can't.
A 6 out of 10 would be a bad game for Bernardo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it chucks him in. No, I think I like both teams, but I'm going with Bernardo. So, excuse me. So let me reel off your team. Wow, this is off the top of my head, so you correct me if I miss anybody out. You've got Ederson in goal, Walker at right back, Vincent Kompany, Ruben Dias, Nathan Ake, Fernandinho, David Silva, KDB. And up front, you've got Phil Foden, Sergio Aguero, and Bernardo Silva. That is a cracking team. Me, I've got not many changes, but I've got Edison in goal. I've got Kyle Walker, John Stones, Ruben Dias, Nathan Ake, Fernandinho. I've got David Silva, KDB. On the left, I've got Leroy Sané. I've got Haaland up top. And on the right, I agree with you. I've got Bernardo Silva now. And that it's amazing to think we've had some of these really difficult choices. Your bench, I can imagine who's on your bench. You know, you've got Haaland on your bench. You will have Rodri on your bench. You will have Ilkay Gundogan on your bench. You will have John Stones on your bench. Raheem Sterling on your bench. Possibly Leroy Sané on your bench. Wow. That is just, that is ridiculous. It's hard. I'm trying to comprehend, just understand the level of quality players we've had in the last 7 years under Pep. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I've got a bit of background noise. I don't know. Brilliant. I mean, what a team! But that Pep's 11. You know, every team he's put out, apart from that first season where we struggled a little bit. Just he's got players doing things you don't expect as well, hasn't he? That's the thing. You've just got players in there that can play different roles and roam around as well.
I think it's easy. Your captain's going to be Kompany, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
My captain will be, because I haven't got Kompany, my captain will be KDB. I think that's quite reasonable. Or Fernandinho, actually.
Yeah, Fernandinho probably, yeah.
Wow, 2 cracking lineups. I think we had 4 differences, but they're only minor differences, you know. Brilliant players, reeling them off. And we will look back in I was going to say in our old age, but we're already getting there. And the cracking time under Pep. Bernard, once again, thank you, mate. It's been a fantastic look back at the best 11. And guys, if you've got a difference of opinion to either Bernard or myself, if you are adamant that Yaya Toure
we forgot someone. Yeah, anyone we forgot.
Yeah. Well, if you're adamant Yaya Toure has to be there, or somebody else we've missed.
Bravo should be in there. If you want Bravo in there, or Willie.
Oh, that Grealish deserves his opportunity.
If you want your Willie in and you not your Willie out,
Willian. Willie. You want your Big Willie Caballero. Or if you think Riyad Mahrez is, we've unduly disrespected Riyad Mahrez, let us know in the comments section below, and we'll do our best to respond to your comments. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, if you're new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe. We're about 11,500 subs at the moment, so it would be nice to nudge along a bit further and hit that bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos come out. We'll see you around, Blues.